Good day. Welcome back to another Ramblings from the Warp. Today I am only joined by Kyle. Kyle, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Sadly we will be without Christian this episode, but it's actually kind of fitting, as bad as that is. Christian, if you're hearing this, I still love you, but meh. Uh, so this past weekend, Kyle and I were at Wargames Con up in Austin, and we're going to go through that a little bit. We're also going to go through some of the new announcements that we got, some new drops that came out, and just kind of talk about the direction the game is going. From what I can see, Kyle is going to give some input as well. But let's start with Wargames Con because I was kind of excited to talk about this one. I had a riot at Wargames Con.
I had a really good time.
Well, okay, so I had a good time for a couple of reasons. One, I came across new people. Every time there's new people at Texas events, I get giddy because I'm like, yes, new people, new armies, new play styles, new ideas. Like, as much as I love the guys that we play with consistently, I know that most of the time, if I go to a Texas event, I'm going to come across Jeremy, or I'm going to come across John or Seth or Lance or one of those guys. I like new people with new lists, and I like playing against them to see like how they differ from the way that I play with the normal like folks that I play with. And I'll also say Wargames Con leaps and bounds above where it was last year. Now, part of that was because of how much information was out about it last year, but we
I know,
went
man. I had a
from
lot of fun playing with Lance last year.
I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of funny. I was even telling Seth about it because the previous year at Wargames Con, Seth and I were doing the home meows good back and forth. Apparently, there was even a Reddit thread about that where someone from the narrative 40K group was like, "These dudes are super annoying," and I love that for me and Seth.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. But this year was a riot, man. I got my shit rocked in game one. Like, not don't get me wrong, like I didn't get absolutely like stomped, but man, I felt that game. So okay, so let's get into it. So do you want to talk about your games first, or you want me to talk about mine?
Let's talk about them in
In order. Let's do one
round.
and two
Yeah.
and three and four. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So my first round, Resurgent of the Great Falling Skies mission.
Love that mission.
Dude, I always okay. So for those of you who've never been to one of the Texas events, there's a mission that Seth loves very, very much. He's one of the for those of you who don't know Seth, if you're, listening to this and you don't frequent the Texas circuit, Seth runs a lot of the events down here in Texas, or he's got kind of a helping hand in them. And he has this mission called Falling Skies. And the concept is you're fighting on a planet. While you're doing that, there's a battle going on above you, and there's rhinos falling out of the spaceships. And they
They drop
impale into the
craters.
table. They scatter from random positions. Like there's
Yeah.
spots marked on the map, and you'll like scatter 3d6, and like wherever the rhino hits. And this year, I think the profile for the rhino impact was strength 12, AP 2, 3d3 damage, stun 3.
And it had shock. No, the shockwave had shock. Sorry.
I'd like you to know, Kyle, I have played this mission. Grand total, I've played this mission at 7 events, and I have never not had a rhino buck my shit up top of one.
Yeah.
Always. This year, it took my Spartan down to 1 wound, killed half of my plasma team and half of my tactical team while I was lined up against a very well-tuned Mechanicum list. So first new player that I got to play against was a guy named Lewis. Dude, great player, really well-tuned army. His Mechanicum were dialed in. I'm hoping he is at Warzone so that I can play him with a list that, I don't know, brings a gun. because my word bearers don't. Like, so the raffled army is very thematically, accurate. It's like, man, there's a lot of Gal Vorback, there's a lot of corrupted dudes, there's a lot of dudes with warpfire blasters, you got Argo Tall running around, there's Freitas Anointed, deep striking down. Bro, the biggest guns in that army are on the Spartan that carries the Gal Vorback. Those are all the las cannons or heavy weapons that I have that can kill a tank. So when it gets hit by, I don't know, a falling rhino top of one, bad time. Right? And of course, Luke's like, all right, cool, I'll roll the damage. He rolled like 2 6s and a 5. I'm like, dope, 9 wounds. Just rolling the dice up. Like, great.
right off the
One.
bat.
Um, that game was really tough. And I think what really, really like was rough is like the rhinos fall, but then the rhinos become objectives. So like on one side, you're like Chicken Little, like, oh my god, the sky is falling. And then you're like, oh, there's cool shit here. I need to get points off this. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I at the end of the game, I was up 20-17 on primaries. And then we started calculating secondaries. Because the only thing I had left on the table at the end of that game was 2 plasma guys and 3 tactical marines. Everybody else died. And so I ended up losing 23-17 after secondaries, which I'm cool with. I think I did great considering, I don't know, I was taking like bare hands to a gunfight against robots. But really well dialed list, really good opponent. He played his army really competently. He knew his rules. He knew what he had going on. It's fantastic time. So that was my round one.
My round one was a mirror match against a blasphemous Loyalist Thousand Sons player. Now, granted, he was only he was at the he served the will of the event organizers, the TOs. So he just said, "Hey, if you need a loyalist, I'll be a loyalist," because his army didn't have to be traitor, and mine had to be traitor because I had Ozek in it. Ozek Armon, so I had to have I had to go traitor. So we had a nice little mirror match. His army gorgeously painted. I do have pictures of that game. I did not get enough pictures this weekend. I do apologize. I will be putting the pictures that I do have in the podcast video on YouTube, so you'll at least be able to see a game, maybe two that we have. For me, at least, I don't know how many pictures you got, but
I,
he,
I I think I got pictures of my first game because
yeah,
so this is something really funny that Christian knows, Seth knows it, is like midway through that game, I like was trying to dial in to like recover the sham that was the game. And everyone was like, everyone who knows me, Alan and Seth and those guys were like, man, is Gabe mad right now? And Seth was like, that's not his mad face, that's his thinking face. He's concentrating.
yeah, just try not to lose.
Yeah, I was like, how can I recover from this? All right, I got 3 guys here, I got 2 guys here, I got a guy here. I was really dialing in. So when that happened, I quit taking pictures.
Yeah, I just forget. I get so caught up in trying to
Yeah.
have a good time and learn the missions because reading
Well,
is very hard
well,
for
and the
me.
other thing too is like I have this weird like nerd code and it was something that was, it I picked it up at one of my early Adepticons playing with a good friend of mine. You're there to play a game, people paid money to be there, so give them your undivided attention.
Right. On respect their
Yeah,
time and
you know,
their commitment. Yeah.
and we're there to play the game, so play the game. Like put your phone down. It's like a phone at family dinner. Like put your phone down, quit being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like in the moment, and so I always forget to take pictures. But anyway, continue, please.
Yeah. So he had a his I loved playing him. Like I said, his army gorgeously painted. He liked the white in the army. The Thousand Sons white on the red and gold, which I don't have any white on mine, probably because I'm a terrible painter. So I really enjoyed looking at his army, but he had Saturnine in it. He had the coolest kit bashing slash I don't want to call it proxying because this is heresy and it's like we don't really care that you're not playing the exact character that you showed, you know. Um, but he had a mounted librarian with mounted Praetorian squad, right? Praetorian squad. And instead of them being mounted on bikes like they're supposed to be, he had them mounted on discs and they
which
flew.
I love.
I loved it. I was so into it. My only regret is that he forgot they were in reserves and they didn't come in until turn 3, which is why I don't run reserves because I will forget and my guys will never come in. I'll be sitting looking at the table going, I get my ass stomped. I'm lost. I've lost half my army. And then I'll look at my tray and be like, oh yeah, this is because they're still in reserves. I didn't pull them out. My bad. That's how I'd play. But I had a lot of fun playing against him. His philosophy, his name's Ben, by the way. I'll give him a shout out. His name's Ben. Um, he has a philosophy of I play Thousand Sons because I want to do stupid psychic abilities. So he did his stupid psychic abilities every chance he got. Whether he needed to or not, didn't matter. He's like, I'm rolling it. Fuck it. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I suffer. That's how it goes. My heads explode. But that librarian squad, back to that one, they're on discs, and then he has the Praetorian squad with him. The staffs that they have as their weapons are the ancient Egyptian paddle looking axes with the look like the I don't even know what it is, like the sea, the axe on the tip. It was so cool looking. I think I got a picture of it. But I really enjoyed playing that game against him. His philosophy was definitely let's have fun and do crazy shit. I don't care if I win. I don't think he got a single point against me. And that's not because I was playing that hard. It's because he didn't give a shit about points. He just wanted to play. And I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, I played him in round 4, which when we get to that game, I can't say he was my favorite person to play against because I enjoyed pretty much all of my opponents. Uh, but that game had some really funny moments in it that I'm going to talk about when we get to that round. So
As far as the mission goes, I think this was the data stack mission where you turn on the data stacks and you hold them. And I had I just I mean I had the people to put out on the spots. Oh, that's what happened. He let me go first. He won the roll off and said, "Oh, you can go first," and that cost him the game. And he was upset about it for about 0.3 seconds. And it's like, ah, well, whatever. That was my bad. The cookie crumbles. Let's play. So yeah, that was a really fun game. It was a really good way to start the event playing against him. I enjoyed it. I hope to see him at Warzone as well.
yeah, for sure. Let's see, round 2. Who did I play in round 2? I played the other Iron Warriors player. Um, I want to say his name was Kevin, but I'm pretty sure I got that wrong, which is really shitty on my part because I really enjoyed that game. So we had to play okay, so there was a mission called Choke Point. Kyle, you know this mission pretty well because you and I played this mission at the end. I actually had to play this mission twice. Essentially, there's 36 inches of open table in front of a big wall with a gate, and it's a fortified bunker. Indirect fire, can't fly over the walls, can only shoot through the gate. And you deploy kind of on the gate, and then there's a 9-inch ring at the rear of the deployment where you can rappel into the bunker via reserves. And the rules were you could charge out of reserves, but it was considered disordered. Cool. I'm inside the choke point. I'm inside the base, and this Iron Warriors army is outside. And dude, it was a good army. If memory serves me correct, he had a Saturn IX Terminator with 3 Saturn IX Dreadnoughts. He
Yeah.
had a tactical squad and a Rhino. He had a Land Raider with 5 Dominator cohort and a Warsmith. He had 5 Siege Tyrant Terminators with a Siege Breaker. He had an Arachne assault platform, which is hilarious because I never see that on a table. And all that was backed up by a Cerberus and a Contemptor Dreadnought. He also had an Arcwitter Bombard Mortis and an Arcwitter Bombard Graviton. Forgot
Yes.
about those.
Yeah.
Turn 1, I have first turn, and he rolls to seize. He does it, and I was like, all right, cool. And I remember I was like, fuck it, we ball. I ran the Spartan right out the gate, hopped out the Gal Vorback, and we fought in the open plains the entire game. I sat out there with Gal Vorback and my Margal. I brought in my Freitas and just kind of kept everything outside the gate. Eventually, I sent my Ashen Circle out there that got properly romped by siege tyrants and a contemptor. Like they fled, and I was like, "All right, cool." They failed their panic. They ran some more. They failed the next turn. They ran some more. They ran from the gate all the way back until they touched the rear wall, and then they recovered, and the game ended. That game was really good. I learned that Ashen Circle cannot kill Dreadnoughts. They also can't kill Dominator Cohort. But man, they'll murder a poor tactical squad.
Yeah, and a heavy weapon squad.
Yeah, they'll do that. It was a good game. I really enjoyed that game because he played the shtick. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that game quite a bit. And it was actually kind of funny to like have my Margal running out there, like, "Hey, I'm gonna run over here," and he's like, "I'm gonna shoot you with my accelerator cannon." And I was like, I honestly forgot that was back there because I'm used to those just being on the tables like terrain or something. Immediately I have flashbacks of Ivan, like, I want to shoot the gun. But yeah, that was a really fun game. It was really good. And it was cool to just we were just having a good time. Like always. I enjoy that about the heresy stuff. We were just having a good time and enjoying the game. It was a bloodbath out in that grassy field. But yeah, that was my second game.
My second game was on the trench table, and I'm not talking shit when I say this, but I didn't like this mission because of the way it is. So the mission is you're on the map. It has really awesome terrain where it's got trenches that you put your guys in, and the mission is there's two deployment zones for the defender and one deployment zone for the attacker, and you have to put more people in the first deployment zone than the second deployment zone. I was the defender, so I had to understand this. And you're getting attacked and you're running back. It's a fallback. And so you get points in the first two turns for the people that are in the second deployment or the first deployment zone, the front deployment zone. And then you get points for the people in the second deployment zone on the last two turns, 3 and 4. So you're supposed to move your guys back into the second deployment zone to get points in the last part of the game. But I never got overran, partly because I will admit that neither me nor the guy I played against named Traveler understood the rules for my psychic ability, and I technically made one of his squads run away and then not move. And I shouldn't have. I should have just made them run away and then they were able to move again. That was kind of a bad part on both of our parts, and we both admit it, but I felt really bad for that because I felt like I was cheating, even though I didn't do it on purpose. But my only issue is I wasn't getting overran. I defended it. I held the line. My guys, I got some clutch pins. I got some clutch. My Aether Fire cannons were picking up bodies like they do. And I just, I couldn't play the mission because I wasn't getting overrun like the mission thought I would or should. But I played, he was an Iron Warriors player as well. My army does not have a way to answer Terminators. And, oh no, he wasn't Iron Warriors. He was Shattered Legions. That's what he was. He was Shattered Legions with mainly White Scars, and he had Eben Keshig Terminators, right? That's what I
Yeah,
call
Evan
them.
Keshiker solid.
Yeah, they fucked me up. The only mistake he made with them was he tried getting here. He tried going after Isaac Armon, who was attached to my laser destroyers, and just got wrecked every time he shot at them because they'd shoot back. He didn't like them. I don't blame him. But yeah, I kept one of his assault squads back with my psychic ability from my librarian, and his despoilers got close to my Kenatai and they got wrecked. Kenatai picked them up because that's what they do. But I really enjoy that game because even with us realizing that I didn't play it right, we still had fun. Like he didn't let it ruin his time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that guy was pretty laid back.
He was pretty legit player. I mean, his army was gonna be like if it wasn't the mission that we played on, his army would be very strong. I think the mission was against him, which I find out happens a lot with missions. Like you can't build an army for every mission. That's something we talked about when we talked about missions a long time ago. Is that it's hard to make a mission that fits every army or make an army that fits every mission because you never know what you're going to come across.
Well, it's like
You,
so. There's a difference between the missions in the book and the missions we see when we play.
right? We do play custom missions for sure.
Yeah, we play a lot of like one-offs, and like I was actually kind of bummed I didn't get to play Traveler. He had to dip out the
Yeah,
second day.
you got a family and had to do things for Father's Day. Whatever.
Families, ugh.
Family, bugh.
Um,
Father's Day,
I
bugh.
actually I actually kind of wanted to play against him because like he had a good vibe, but and it's Shattered Legions. Like who doesn't want to play
Who
against
does
Shattered
that,
Legions?
right?
It's just
Yeah,
awesome. It's an off the beaten path kind of army.
it was.
So rolling into round three, I played against Seth because we had him as a ringer, and he brought that disgusting Iron Warriors army he has.
I don't know what it is with Seth and picking armies that specifically piss me off, but he does.
That's just because you're weak. So his Iron Warriors right now, if like I said, I'm trying to recite all this from memory. I'm pretty sure I have it locked in because I played as that army at Alamo as the ringer, and I felt so bad playing it because it was two basilisks, an Arcwitter with the Spiculous Rockets. There's an Augur Command Squad with a Siege Breaker. There's a three carriage Rapier team with the quad launchers. There's a Master Signal, veteran breachers with a Warsmith in a Land Raider. There's two Inducti squads with shotguns and shrapnel bolters and rhinos, and then two 20-man tacticals, I believe, is the list. I could be missing something, but that's what I remember. But we're playing Data Breach. And in Data Breach, each person has a console basically in your home deployment. And each turn you can activate the objectives around the map and make them worth points. So like if you're on an objective and it isn't turned on, it still counts as an objective for the purposes of Vanguard, but you score nothing off of it for having a line, which is wicked because there's a lot of potential Vanguard points flying around. So you can turn on or off any objective you want. So like if I go to get an objective and I'm like, I turn it on, next turn you can be like, I turn it off. And we're
Yeah,
just stuck like back and forth. So beginning of the game, it went kind of well because I got to go first. No, actually, no, I didn't. He went first. I didn't go first against anybody except the first Iron Warriors player. And the rule of thumb with the list that I took, the Word Bearers raffle army that I'm playing with, here's the rule. If I touch it, it dies. If I get to you, like if I touch you, you die. But I have to get there. And
right.
that's a lot harder than it seems. So were you gonna say something?
No, I just said right.
So I want y'all to know I touched Seth. That's essentially what happened in that game
He
was
liked
I
it.
got there. Uh, turn one, my Gal Warback made it to one of his 20-man squads. That is the worst possible thing that can happen to you. If my Gal Warback get a first turn charge, like, it's your ass. That's just what it is. They're that mean, and there's 10 of them with Argyle Hall. Like, they're busted. What didn't help him was he had a 20-man blob, and I picked up like 11 of them. And he's like, all right, cool. Morale check. Only double ones. He rolled double ones and stayed.
Ugh.
Had he fallen back and I couldn't have caught him, he could have shot me. But we stayed in combat. My Warfire Blaster shot up a whole nother unit. He was kind of raining hate back and forth. Oh, I'm sorry. That list also has 2 Vindicators in it. I kept killing his Vindicators with my Spartan. I shot one, and then he shot me with the other during his turn. I returned fire, and I killed the other one. So he lost both Vindicators in the first round. That's painful. By the end of the game, I just kind of moved my way across the table. My Marigal had kept his breachers in the middle of the table, and he couldn't kill the Marigal. He was really frustrated because, man, I was banking my saves. I just remember Seth, like, he'd be like, all right, cool. Give me 3 5-ups. And I would roll like a 5-5-6, and he would just look at me. I'm like, hey, man, look at the dice. Don't look at me. I just rolled them. I didn't tell him what to do. I'm not going to say what the score of that game was, but I did win.
Yeah.
I will also say I really like how he has his veteran breachers and his warsmith kitted out because they're vicious. They kill everything they touch until it rolls every invul in the world. I also want to laugh at the fact that I kept turning off the objectives he was on. And the last turn, I was like, yeah, I'm going to turn off that objective. And I consolidated onto his control point so he couldn't turn him back on. That's what cost him.
Yeah,
Was
that's
I
rude.
I wrapped his command thing, and he was like, I was going to move my Augur command squad there to turn it back on. And I was like, I know you were. That's why I covered it in 40mm bases with a bunch of demonic horns and claws. Like, if you want to take it, it's right there. You just have to kill all of those people in Argyle Hall. He was like, you're a bastard. And I was like, sometimes I am. So that was my third round. That was the last round of the first day.
My third game was was it? It was the ammo one. Yeah,
Ooh, make them count.
make them count. Yeah,
Ooh.
you have to hold objectives to get victory points. And this after the first turn is over, you're firing on snapshots unless you pay 3 victory points to reload. And I played against Lewis, the the Mechanicum guy, and I got my shit rocked. I could not kill anything. And every time I put wounds on something, he's like, all right, cool. Well, this one's healed. That one's healed. This one's healed. And I was like, that's awesome. And then, oh, I'm going to shoot this guy. And then I'd roll once. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, not only was his list really, really good, but my dice failed me. It's like they got tired of rolling. I don't, I got so diced to that game. I couldn't do anything. I rolled an 11 on a heal, on a repair on my Kratos with my Forge Lord. The only reason I didn't fail is because I paid the 10 points and gave him a Cyber Familiar. Like, that's how bad my dice were doing. You know what I mean?
I'll say this. In my round 1 game against Lewis, Alan was there watching the game, and Lewis was like, all right, cool, I'm going to hit you with these 6 shots. I just need one of them to connect. We're like, all right. Dude, homeboy rolled 6 ones.
I don't think he failed a single roll against me. He may have
I,
failed the wound, but he hit me with everything.
I saw him roll 6 1s, and me and Alan just looked at each other. And I was like, man, I never seen that. Alan's like, I've seen it with like 5s and 6s. I've never seen it with 1s. So I was like, that's a cursed dice right there.
Yeah, he took him and got him blessed before he got to me. Man, God, that game was rough. That game was rough. He handed me my own ass, but he wasn't rude about it. Like, he was a nice guy, I have to say. I enjoyed the person. I didn't enjoy the game as much as I could have. I definitely
What's
don't enjoy failing everything,
what's
but
kind of
I
funny
had
is like
fun.
he and I talked after that game, and he's like, do you have any advice for me or anything I should do? And I'm like, oh, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Like you got a good list, whatever. He's like, like should I do this? Should I do this? And I'm like, man, play the list the way you want to play it, and if you don't like it, fuck them. It's
what
fine.
is it? I'll express my displeasure in my lists.
It's literally like, and I think that's why I do so well on sportsmanship and other things. Is like I genuinely don't give a shit. I just want to have a good time. Now, do I want to lose? No, no one showed up to an event just being like, man, I sure hope I get my ass kicked today. Said no one ever, right? We've discussed this before. I just want to have a good time, and as I say, Seth, and by the way, Seth, you're a raggedy bitch for stealing my line.
What was
Um,
the line?
when he was doing the game intros, he's like, everyone should leave with a new story and a new friend. And I'm like, bitch, that's my line off this podcast, no less. That's my line, you raggedy bitch. But
No,
that's the truth, though. Like,
I had a good time playing against him above the game, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
Outside the game,
don't get me
you
wrong.
know,
Like,
because
and
and I'll say he was rooting for me to make the hits. Every time I'd fail, he's like, "Damn, really?" Or "Come on, man, you got this." Like, he was there. It's just, and I don't want to face roll opponents. I don't like catching every roll, but I'd like to win one. I may not win the war, but I'd like to win a battle. You know what I mean? Like,
now
give me
I'll say
something, dice.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I got home and started reading a shitload about Mechanicum. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, I made a
like
list. I made a list on how to bring all the Thalax I could, and I named it "Might as well play Mechanicum."
yeah, I 100%
I got
like
54 Thalax in a normal Space Marine army.
yeah, I got home and I was like, let me read about these fucking fly spaghetti monsters because Jesus, they hurt.
Yeah, they were,
Yeah,
man.
so
Yeah,
going into
I
game
like
four,
trains.
yeah. Old John Ridge, I like trains.
I like trains.
So going into day four, I played
Me
against
too.
Ben on the trench mission.
How'd you think about the transmission?
I loved that mission, but I've got a shitload of Vanguard, so my vote doesn't count.
Oh, that's true. I have no Vanguard, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I have all the Vanguard. Dude, the Gal Warbacker Vanguard, the Margal's Vanguard, the Ashen Circler Vanguard. Like I'm packed to the gills of Vanguard. But something happened during that game that perfectly sums up how Ben plays. The other Thousand Sons player that you were
Oh yeah,
talking
you
about that
played
you had
against
played
him on that
earlier.
map. Yeah.
I go to shoot him, and I'm like, I'm gonna try and kill these last two guys. He said, "Hey, you wait right there." And I'm like, holy shit, did I make this guy mad? He goes, you don't get to kill me until I fucking find out if I get to kill me.
Because he rolls his psychic ability to see if he
Yeah,
gets the shield.
he rolls up his psychic ability, he perils, he does 3 wounds to himself, kills his whole squad. He goes, and that's how Thousand Sons do it. And you just put him back in the tray.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it.
Fantastic game. Now I will say the game started and he was like, who's your main character? I'm like, Argle Tall. He goes, would you like to meet in the middle? And I'm like, I'll come to you. You're in Saturnine armor, bro. You're big dumb slow. I'll come to you. I got wings. We go to do a challenge, and Argle Tall got mollywopped. He got
Really?
just handled. So we fought for 7 rounds in the challenge. We went through 7 rounds in the challenge. And like I'd hit him, I'd do some wounds, he'd pass his invuls. He'd hit me, I'd pass my invuls. On round 3, he connected with that hammer, flat 3 damage. Felt that. And the whole rest of the, because we kept using the psychic Thousand Sons gambit where he's like, I'm in a ship 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, this kid hits like a train. So I kept doing finishing blow, and like I would connect, and I just couldn't do enough damage to kill him. And finally, he connected with a second hammer blow. I failed an invul. I failed to feel no pain. He died. And then my Freitas dropped, and he was like, "They're in Saturnine, aren't they?" I'm like, "Yep, they're in Saturnine." And I fucked up. I made a tactical error. I had my Freitas next to all of my stuff. Well, the warp fire mantles on the Freitas don't say like all enemy units within a certain range, whatever. What the rule says is if they're called upon to take an armor save or an invul save in any shooting phase, once that shooting phase is over, every unit within 8 inches that does not have the warp fire mantle rule has to make a toughness check or take D3 mortal wounds or D3 AP2 wounds with no saves of any kind. So that fucker shot me and made me take toughness saves on all my own shit.
Yeah.
MVP move. Not mad about it. It was hilarious. I didn't mind that mission. I also love the fact that his mounted command squad and his mounted librarian were on the discs of Zinch. I love that aesthetic so much. And I love the fact that if anyone was to argue and be like, oh, they're supposed to be on bikes, shame on you, be like, the wording says mounted. My
Doesn't say
whole
mounted
ass.
on what? Yeah.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah.
So if you pull up the list and you look at like, say a Centurion on a bike or whatever else, it doesn't say a Centurion on a bike. It says mounted
Mounted
Centurion.
Centurion. Yeah.
Now, when you get into the war gear, it actually talks about what kind of mount it's on. But at a core level, you can just be like, it's mounted, bro. That's my version of a bike. It's a unicycle. Eat dicks. I love that aesthetic. And I did like his mixture of white and red. I loved the scheme. I like that he brought a drop pod. How original.
Oh yeah, the drop pod never came out on my game. I don't even know what it looked like. It stayed in reserves.
When I fought him, it was full of breachers. So I really enjoyed that game. I enjoyed every bit of it. I didn't have a dull moment. I never had any kind of like oh, woe is me. Like the entire game from start to finish, ass whoopings and beyond was great. I loved that he had everything Thousand Son-esque other than Kinatai. Like, dude, he had a couple of Castellax robots. He had, his Saturnines. He had his squads. He had his librarian. He had his discs of Zinch. Great army, great feel, great aesthetic. Loved it all.
Yeah, my fourth game was Kevin. No, yeah. Yeah, I played Kevin on the Falling Rhinos mission. That's
Ugh.
yeah, that mission is so much fun. And the best part about that mission is the falling rhinos are actual rhinos like halfway embedded in a crater terrain. It's great. But we just kind of like his whole idea was, man, if we can't decide on it, if it's not written out, fuck it, let's roll for it. I don't care. So we looked at it, and the mission packet didn't say who rolls where the rhino drops and who rolls the damage. So he goes, let's take turns. I'll roll where it goes. You roll to see what the damage is, and then we'll swap. And I was like, okay, that's fair. So I rolled where it went first, and it landed directly on top of one of his Arcura bombards and his Cerberus, and it put a Cerberus on 2 wounds. And he was like, "That's some bullshit." And I was like, "That is so good for me." and then the next one landed directly on top of his other Arcor Bombard and Rhino, and splatted one of his Terminators or something. I was like, that's so good for me. And then Seth walks by and he goes, "Yeah, but he has all the objectives." And I was like, "Oh shit, he does have the objectives. Now I have to go to him. Damn." But we had a lot of fun because we just didn't care. And I will say, my dice didn't fail me. My dice reset overnight. They got, they got a little alcohol in them, I guess. They felt good the next day. And I had a lot of fun playing against him. It was really good. The next 2 rhinos landed on me, but they didn't do as much damage as they did to him.
Man,
But I
those
really
rhinos are
enjoyed that
rough.
game. Those rhinos did so much. They pinned his rhino. I think it was one of his rhinos in the back, to where it couldn't get the guys out from behind his contemptor. And I was like, "That's hilarious." He goes, "That's par for the course. Yep, that's how this is going today." But again, I don't have an answer for Terminators besides just shooting them off the table. And I had to put a lot of work to kill his Saturnine Terminators and his Siege Havocs, right? Know what they're called?
Siege
Ty-
Tyrant Terminators.
Tyrant. Yeah, Siege Tyrant Terminators with the Havoc launchers. Is that what they have?
No.
Oh, the Hive, whatever. I don't know. They have the rockets on their
You
back.
you are thinking of Iron Havocs.
Iron Havocs, yeah. He had Siege Tyrant Terminators. And then he had the other ones, the Cataphractes.
Dominator cohort.
Yeah, those guys, they fucked me up.
Yeah, they
He
don't play.
charged he charged my assault squad, and they said, "I don't like it." As a matter of fact, I quoted "Be cool" because they wiped my entire squad, and then he goes, "I guess my Forge Lord just standing here doing nothing." I was like, "He's just standing like, don't give me no goddamn gun. You know what I'm gonna do." Because he don't get to do shit. And then I shot them. Oh, that was one of the best parts is he got down to Justice Forge Lord. I shot everybody else out. And he's like, "I'm going after Isaac Armand." I was like, "Okay, bring it. Like, I want to see this fight. I do." He gets within charge range. He goes, "All right, I'm gonna shoot him." And I was like, "I'm gonna fire back." He goes, "Never mind, never mind. No, I take it back. I don't want to. Please don't. I cannot," because he'd already rolled his shots. And I was like, "Nah, it's cool, man. As long as you give me my reaction point back, we're even." He goes, "You can have it back. You can have it back. As a matter of fact, you can have 2." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Now I'm just going to charge you." I was like, "You want to volley?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Okay." And then we got to the fight, and it took 4 rounds, but I eventually killed him in the challenge. That was fun. That was a really fun game.
That guy's just a really good opponent.
He really is. He really is.
Yeah, honestly, that was one of the things that I was really happy about was one, I got to play with a bunch of new people, and two, they were all fucking cool.
Yeah. I don't think I played against a bad person.
Now, okay, I don't know. The guy I played in my 5th round, I wasn't fond of.
That's true. He is the guy I played in my 5th round was kind of a dick.
Yeah,
But he
yeah, that
kind of
guy was a
started that all
shitbag.
doom and gloom, like, "I can't win
Yeah,
this fucking game." And then he turns
I
around
know,
and
what a
just
piece of
shoves it
shit,
straight
right?
up my
What,
ass.
what a
Yeah.
raggedy
So
bitch.
anyway, my 5th game was against Gabe.
Yeah, my 5th game was against Kyle.
Playing on choke point.
Yeah, I
And
had to go
Gabe,
back to joke point, and then Seth was like, "You're attacking Gabe," and I was like, "So you're telling me I got to take an army of hands?"
and you know what? You fucking did too, bitch. You fucked my
I
shit
did,
up
I did do pretty well, but that's because I guess I'm the only person who used the rappel tactic.
correctly.
Yeah, to come in through like the back of the base, and it also helped that I did it with like speed 12 Ashen Circle. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. And you got some good rolls and I got some bad rolls. And I purposely did not play like a bitch, and I left my Kenitai out to get shot off the map instead of putting them back in the Spartan like I should have, or my
You know,
Land Raider like I should have.
you know, I I reviewed that game in my head, and I think I know the turning point of where your luck turned and it cost you the game.
What was that?
When you shot my Spartan and I shot back and rolled hot as fuck.
Oh yeah, and you destroyed my Land Raider.
I crippled your Land Raider, but your Kratos, you were like, I'm gonna shoot that. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna shoot back. And I put your Kratos on 1 wound.
Yeah,
That let the Ashen Circle finish it with the Melt Bomb. Like that
yeah,
rolling that hot, that cost you because losing that Kratos compromised the whole left side of your rear backfield.
it did.
Um,
But that's how it goes. Like everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth, you know?
well, and part of the thing there, like, and I can't stress this enough. The guns don't matter if I'm tied up in combat. Like I said, my list works if I get there. It's when I'm like stuck outside, like,
Yeah, I probably should have put both Kratos in the door instead of the Land Raider, but it is what it is. That's the way
yeah,
the cookie crumbled.
that game wasn't bad.
Nah, it
Other
worked out.
other thing that was really crazy was, dude, we had some crazy prize support this year.
We did. I was so impressed. Like props to Wargames Con. I said it right.
Yeah, it only took like actually going there and like talking to people. There was a ton of prize support. Really cool prize support too.
There was a
Uh,
Custodes tank,
yep,
which was awesome.
there was a custodes tank. There were like these mini lunch boxes, which I was like, those are kind of cool.
Yeah,
There was a hat. There was even like some bottles. There
some
was
alcohol. Yeah,
yeah, there's a little bit of everything.
there was.
Palettes,
Oh,
paints,
I'm excited
brushes.
about my Turbo Dork paints. Let me tell you about my color shifting Turbo Dork paints. I cannot
Um,
wait to pay you to paint something with them.
this bitch here.
Because there ain't
Uh,
no way I'm gonna be able to do justice to this shit.
I will say the kid who got best painted, that army was really cool and really creative. It was a
Yes,
militia army.
the militia arm. Outside, I didn't get to play against him because he was on my team.
Yeah, same. I kind of wanted to play against that because it was a really good looking army. It was a lot of fun.
He did.
The
He had tanks out the ass that he camo painted and then put mesh on top of them to make them look like they were, camouflage from above. He had a proxied in. I don't even know what kind of airplane it was, but it was a P-52 or some shit.
it was a beautiful army.
Yeah,
It was a
he
very
had
well
cool
painted
army.
army. It was fantastic.
So cool.
Uh, you know, all that prize support was really awesome,
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. Hell of a growth from last year.
I
That
felt
was a hell.
seen
You
as a
felt
heresy
seen. Is that
player.
what you
As
said?
as a heresy player, I felt seen.
Yeah, that's typically an issue. You see the events and you're like, I want some of them trophies. And like when we found out we actually had some, we were like, oh shit, we got trophies. Cool.
Yeah, best painted overall, and what was the other one? Best sportsman.
Best sportsman. Yeah, best
Yeah,
sportsman. So
yeah, that
definitely a
was
great
that was a
event.
fun time.
The
Next
only
is Warzone.
next is Warzone, and I'm hoping to see everybody I played that this past weekend. I hope to see them there.
Plus the
All
guys that are normally at Warzone, and some new guys from the Houston area. Let's bring it.
yeah, I want to see Warzone packed, man.
I'd love for it to
That's
be. I'd love for it to be enough that we actually have to worry about how we're going to get all the games in.
yeah.
Team doubles, let's do it.
Honestly, do you want to know what my pipe dream is for Warzone?
What's that?
I want it so big that Jack and Seth have to write up new stupid ass missions because they don't have enough to occupy all the tables.
True story.
So Warzone September, we'll have a link in the description. Moving on from that, we're gonna wrap up with some of the new drops that we're getting,
Oh
some of the
yeah.
news that came out. So first thing, in my opinion, the least exciting. I know that sounds bad, but so Custodes are getting a support battle group,
Woo.
and it's adorable. It has 4 bikes, a Telemon Dreadnought, and a Palace Grav tank.
Yeah.
Now, is this a bad box? No, this is actually pretty good. If you are new to Custodes and you're looking to add, all of those are pretty solid. So they're getting that box. But what's super exciting, and I'm excited about it, is we are getting the next Journal Tactica, which is the Zone Mortalis Tactica book. There's been a lot of communication around this where guys are like, okay, cool, so we're getting a book with rules we already had. Okay, first things first.
Put
It's
some respect
important.
on it.
It's important to denote that published in a physical book is not the same as a PDF. In Heresy, there's kind of a gray area where we don't really know how to talk about certain things because on one hand we don't have legends, we have legacy, right? Your stuff will be in the legacy, right? But third edition was the first time we actually did lose some things. There are some war gear options that did not come back. There were some model loadouts that did not come back. So by this Zone Mortalis book being a physically published book, what's in this book is now published. It's not going anywhere. It won't be modified in a PDF drop. It won't be, they won't change the war gear availability. It's in the physical published book now. It's in a publication, so it's not going to be changed. At least not this edition.
Right.
And they're adding some cool new things. So one is the Zone Mortalis game type. So they're adding basically some stratagems where you can do teleport strikes and like flanking maneuvers and encirclements. You can do these different reserve stratagems, which pretty cool because Zone Mortalis is entirely its own monster by itself. There will be some Zone Mortalis specific advanced reactions that are being added. Of course, some new missions, but what I'm really excited for is they're dropping some new models. Loadouts of models that we have. The first one is Mechanicum are getting a Castellax variant that's all flame heavy flamers, like burn, purge, burn, purge. Solar Auxilia are getting shotguns and boarding shields. They're also getting a new tech support unit called the Technician Section. That's pretty dope. And Astartes are getting veteran breacher squads, which again we already had, but now we're getting them in a book. But we're also getting veteran despoiler squads, which makes me fucking giddy.
Okay, we already had the spoilers.
But we didn't have
Gentlemen.
veteran despoilers. Now we get some that are uppity. That's going to be a fun book. I'm excited to get that book. I'm excited to get my hands on it and kind of deep dive that one a little bit more, read about it. That's going to be a fun book. Beyond that, we're waiting for the next bit of news. 40K did drop 11th edition during the same weekend. That was pretty exciting. Big shakeups on that side. So it's
Yeah, maybe we'll get some new players,
I don't I looked at the new rules. They don't look bad. They look deliberately changed. As bad as that sounds, like you can definitely tell some of these were like, you gotta sell more stuff. Oh, deliberate change.
Yeah.
So, and we see it too. I mean, on the heresy side, we saw the exact same thing. No one can tell me with a straight face that the Kratos was not a sales pitch.
Oh yeah. And I fell for it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, I think we're on a wrap.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Um, so if anybody wants to hear more about Wargames Con, feel free to hop in the Discord. We are still doing our hangout sessions every Tuesday at 7:30 Central Time. I look forward to seeing you guys at Warzone. Also, keep posted for availability for the raffle army tickets. I'll be posting those as well. But as always,
I'm gonna ask you the question.
yep.
Have you found a charity yet?
I have not. Actually, you know what? Throw me charities, guys.
Yeah.
Throw me some charities. I'm still unsure of which charity I'm going to donate to,
And I
but
don't mean charities like the Feed the Fat Boy Foundation that I started in high school so that I could get help from my friends to buy food.
once a bomb, always a bomb. Just pitch some ideas. But as
Yeah.
always, guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Happy dice, happy life. Fuck Erebus. We'll catch you on the next one.
Adios.